Hey there ladies, welcome to today's video. So today we're going to dig deep into the fascinating connection between menopause and the metabolism, and it's time to unlock the secrets that will essentially help you rock this stage in life with confidence, so that you can shed those extra kilos. So I'm excited to get started. Let me know if you're watching this live or on the replay. Always want to make sure that this video finds you well. So menopause and the metabolism go hand in hand, and you might be wondering, well, why exactly is that the case? And it's simply because the decline in estrogen, because estrogen plays a major role in how our bodies store fat, manage blood sugar levels and muscle mass. So it's really important to understand that particular connection in order to conquer your weight loss game. And first up, unfortunately, as we age, we reduce our energy expenditure. And that's simply because estrogen actually helps regulate our metabolic rate, which is essentially how many calories we burn when we are resting and not moving. But when those estrogen levels plummet, our resting metabolic rate takes a hit too. And that means it's going to get tougher to either maintain your weight or to essentially lose weight. But it's also important to not forget the extra fatigue that can sneak up on you as well, and essentially also how that means where that extra bit of pesky fat is going to. So during menopause, it tends to shift from our hips and our thighs to our belly. So it's often referred to as the menobelly, right? And unfortunately, that is exactly the case, because it's troublesome, right? Because you don't want the fat to position itself in around the belly, because it puts you at a higher risk for heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers. We do not want that to happen. So I also want to touch base on insulin resistance. It's simply like the villain of the story, because lower estrogen levels mess with your insulin, and it's the hormone that keeps your blood sugar levels in check. And when we become simply more resistant to insulin, our bodies struggle to regulate those sugar levels effectively. And by that, it means basically unwanted weight gain and an increase of the risk of type 2 diabetes. Not good. There is another bummer that I wanted to talk about. Women start losing lean muscle mass during perimenopause and menopause. So any age, late 30 onwards, actually that is the case, because estrogen helps maintain strong muscles. But when they take a dip, muscles often suffer too. And the sad bit about it is that lean muscle mass means a slower resting metabolic rate. So it's a double whammy essentially for weight management, and especially not just trying to maintain your weight but also losing weight. So when we put all of those changes together, it's like our body essentially forgets how to be metabolically flexible, right? And it's really important to get that back on track. And I want to break down with you and talk about the nitty gritty of what's actually happening in our bodies during this particular stage and the shift in hormones. So we know that the fat metabolism takes a hit because estrogen is simply the boss that regulates how we break down the fats and how we use our fats for energy, right? And with that decline, our bodies essentially struggle to burn fat efficiently, and it ends up on the hips, or for most women on the belly. So we rely more on carbs, which can lead to weight gain, and also a sluggish metabolism, which is so not desirable, right? So it's there's a thing that's called glucose utilization. And again, estrogen has a say in how your bodies handle glucose, which is the sugar we simply need for energy. But obviously, as those estrogen levels drop, our bodies become less efficient at using that glucose. And it's simply like the metabolism feels like getting rusty. So this is for all of you women that I talk to, and you tell me like, oh, I just need to look at that slice of cake and I feel like it's going to end up on my hips and I didn't even eat the cake, because it's simply just the way that your metabolism is functioning. And there's also our little energy powerhouse. It's called the mitochondria, and estrogen is their biggest cheerleader, and it helps those powerhouses to produce ATP, which essentially is the energy that we use as fuel for our bodies. But again, with the decline in estrogen, the mitochondria becomes less efficient. That means less energy production for us, essentially, which is not helpful again when you're trying to lose weight and you're struggling to get any traction with eating clean and moving your body. So it all goes back down to estrogen, and during menopause there is some other key hormones like cortisol, leptin, ghrelin. They all get in on the action, and it can actually interfere with things like your appetite, the way that you use your energy, and how your body partitions fuel in terms of that drop in blood sugar levels. It's essentially like a hormonal party, so it's really important to actually understand that when we're trying to lose weight, that there is a little bit more that goes it comes into play when it comes to losing weight with ease. But yeah, so let's move on to the less sciencey stuff. I do always want to make sure that you guys get the education so you can understand by what it is that your body needs, because it's so much easier to implement something if you actually know the reason behind why your body is storing fat a certain way and why you may be struggling to shift the kilos. So there is, as always, a few things that you want to focus on so that you can boost your metabolism during menopause. And the first one is simply about obviously trying to dive deeper into weight management itself. So you can manipulate your macronutrients, as in your carbohydrates, your healthy fats, and your proteins, by switching between low and high carb days. And it's also important to focus on whole foods for an overall wholesome nutrition approach. So it's not about reducing carbs from your diet, because then essentially you're just telling your body to use fat as fuel. And if you can stay with the keto approach until the end of your days, that's fine. But ideally, we want to create a metabolism that can switch between using fat as fuel, or it can also switch utilizing carbs as a main source of fuel. So it's really, really important to utilize your macronutrients and to have that as part of your nutrition structure. So the next thing we need to focus on is sleep. It's the magical ingredient essentially for healthy metabolism. We've got to work on improving the actual quality of sleep. So you want to make sure that you get at least 7 to 9 hours, but also regulate your room temperature, especially those of you who struggle with hot flashes, and you want to make sure that you are really creating that perfect sleep environment, which leads me to point number 3. It's all about stress management. Stress management is so important because we know that menopause itself can bring some extra stress. So it's important to keep active, to prioritize self-care, and to stay connected with friends and be part of your community, because self-care and stress management can come in so many forms, and in as little as 5 minutes a day, utilizing some really powerful deep breathing techniques, you can actually lower the stress response in the body. So it's not like the usual, I haven't got time to spend an hour on myself every single day. It's okay, have you got 10-15 minutes to take a hot bath at the end of the day? Have you got some time to wind down, to do some deep breathing and maybe some stretching or yoga, whatever it takes? By you focusing on stress management, you are actually actively bringing down those cortisol levels. So yeah, so hopefully that has been helpful. It's pretty much the wrap for our session today. But one thing I wanted to share with you, which is a super exciting tool that can actually further enhance, help improve your metabolism during menopause, and it's called a Lumen device. So this is what it looks like here, trying to point it at you at the camera. So it's essentially a device that can be a game changer in your weight loss journey, because it works by measuring metabolic flexibility, which is our body's ability to essentially switch between burning carbs and fats for fuel, which is what we talked about a minute ago. And by using Lumen, you can get real-time feedback on your metabolic state, which essentially allows you to make informed decisions about your nutrition and exercise, and also stress management. So really good for anyone going through perimenopause and menopause, and it's really easy to use. You simply breathe into the device and it will analyze your breath, and it's going to determine if you're primarily burning carbs or fats, because you want to be metabolically flexible. So this knowledge is crucial because it can let you adjust your diet and activity accordingly. So for example, if you are primarily fat burning, using fat as your fat burning stage, you can focus on consuming healthy fats, engaging in workouts to maximize that fat burning. And I find that with Lumen, you can also personalize your approach to weight loss and optimize your metabolism during menopause. So there's no need to go on keto or to go on super long spouts of intermittent fasting. It's like having like a metabolic coach right at your fingertips, essentially. So if you're ready to, take your metabolism to the next level, and if you feel intrigued, I highly recommend giving Lumen a go. It's essentially a powerful tool that will provide you valuable insights and help you make the most out of your weight loss efforts, especially during perimenopause and menopause. I am going to add the link to the site, the Lumen site, in the description. You can go and check it out and see how this might be beneficial for you. And you can also use EHS promo, stands for Easy Health Steps promo, to receive $50 off if you decide to make a purchase and give Lumen a go yourself. And to close off for today, I want you ladies to remember that you do have the power to unlock the menopause metabolism connection to essentially reach your weight loss goals. It's important to stay positive, motivated, and to embrace the incredible changes happening in your body. You can totally rock this stage in life with confidence and shed those extra kilos. And thank you for joining me here today. Thank you for being part of the community. And until next time, I want you to take good care of yourself and don't forget to keep thriving.